Welcome to Keeping the Magic, the podcast, a space for open, authentic conversations that guide us home to our true selves and to our magic within. Let's begin. Welcome everyone, and welcome to season 4. I'm so happy that you're here. And this season was not predicted, it wasn't planned, but here it is on the 23rd of July. I am posting a new episode about energy. And I'm actually so happy that my new season is starting with energy, with the intention and the energy of a new season. It literally came up to me this morning where I had so many, again, realizations and kind of aha moments where I was like, I have to share about this, because we underestimate so much the power and the importance of energy, knowing that it exists, knowing what it means, how it can affect your life, your circumstances, your goals, and the directions that you take, how energy affects you in a way that can either be very positive, but it can also be very negative. And most of the time, you are not conscious about it. You are not responsible for it. And yet it's there, and you're going through life. And basically you're going through life without such power and knowledge that if you knew, you would be, oh my gosh. I have learnt from my experience over the years, by practicing, discovering what it meant to feel the energy in your body, to recognize it, to see the signals, to understand the signs, to literally learn a language. Energy is a language. It's a language of the body. It's the language of feeling. And it's the language of everything that is underlying in this world. Everything that you can see, that you can touch and feel is energy. I'm not a scientist. I'm not going to get into complicated explanations. I wouldn't be able to, especially with my English vocabulary. I wouldn't be able to. But a scientist can explain that very easily. Everything is energy. And yet, we go on in our lives with the intellect, with the logic, with what we can see and touch, thinking, this is it. This is what I can control. This is what I know. And this is what exists. So basically, it's as if like you could see this superficial layer of life, and there's this whole huge depth underneath, but you can't see it, and you're basically ignoring it every single day in your life. But the day that you discover that under this fine line, this layer, there is so much potential and power, it's like, oh my gosh. Just as much as, again, a scientist will tell you that we are using how much percent of our brain? 10%? We have no idea. Just as much as we have no idea really, what the universe is made of and why, what's the purpose, we will never know. Energy. So from experience, I have discovered the hard way, but also the through curiosity with myself and with others and my environment, what energy meant. And one of the ways that I discovered it, for example, is how I noticed myself feeling. So sometimes I would feel a certain way. I would wake up in the morning. The day before, nothing special happened. I was actually in a great mood. And I would wake up the next day and my energy had shifted or felt different. There was no apparent reason. And the more the day would kind of pass, go through my day, And the more this energy felt weird, maybe heavy, a bit off, and it influenced the way I would interact with people, the decisions I made, the way even I would even deliver my work. It's affected by the way I'm feeling. And you could say, well, it's easy, just try and feel better, or yeah, we can't force positivity and we can't force to feel better. We can use tools, however, to uplift our spirits by listening to music, by having a walk, doing something that pleases you, whether it's having a cup of coffee, calling a friend, exercising, whatever. Of course, there are so many tools that you can use to uplift your spirit. And I actually, I've talked about this many times, whether it's in my podcasts, in my videos, on Instagram. I talk about all that, all the tools. And in my programs, I talk about those tools. Those tools are necessary, and they are ways to put you on higher frequencies where you feel elevated, where you feel better, where you feel expanded, where you feel open to people, you feel open to life. Yes, you have ways of getting there. But I'm not going to talk about frequencies, and I'm not going to talk about that now. What I want to talk about is energy. And that is very different from the frequencies that you can be on, or how to elevate yourself to a higher state. This is different because it's important to become aware of your state of being within, why you feel a certain way, and how you can get affected by things that you don't know why. And that's where I was giving my example. You wake up in the morning, you don't know why, it feels off, it feels heavy. How many times have I found myself asking myself, like, why? Why do I feel this way? There's no reason. And then suddenly, either I talk to friends, or I read something, or I get other signs, and I understand. Of course, it's not mine. And you're going to say, what is she talking about? It's not mine. It's not my energy. It's not my own personal energy from my own personal experiences or situation or circumstances that are creating these feelings. I'm very sensitive to energy. I'm very sensitive to others. And it took me many years to understand that I was super sensitive or hypersensitive to feelings and to people and to vibrations. I feel. And I feel so subtly that I pick up things before I even know it. And even, I pick it up without knowing. And usually the integration and the intellectual understanding comes afterwards. But at first, I don't know. But my body's reading it. It's picking it up. And I'm like, why? So it's the collective energy that you are picking up. Now, I'm not just, and I actually did an episode in one of my seasons where I talk about being hypersensitive. And that is it, being hypersensitive, picking up on energies of people or environments, or just the collective energy, whether it's the planets, whether it's things going on in the world, whether, if there's a lot of heavy stuff and horrible things going on in the world, there is this collective energy that we are all connected to, and you will feel those things. So even worse if you watch the news every day, even worse if you are in an environment that does not suit your specific and individual and unique energy. And in a way, unique frequency that you are on. So again, I don't want to get into too complicated explanations or abstract ideas, because then you may think, oh my gosh, what's she getting into? So I'm going to keep it simple. When you feel like that in those days, you don't know why. First of all, you can ask yourself the question, okay, are there some maybe reasons, situations, people you've been around, things that happened the day before, or the week that passed that could eventually put you in that state, affect you in a certain way? If you answer those questions and you kind of go within and you self-inquire and your answer is no, not apparently, at least not consciously, because obviously there are so many things happening in the unconscious and that the subconscious, and we can't control that. That is doing its own job, its own work. But consciously, no. Most of the time, as I just said, it's in the collective. And when I remember that, it releases so much pressure on myself. And this is why I'm sharing it with you. In a way, just simply so you can remove that self-guilt that you may feel when you feel that way. Oh, why am I feeling off? Why am I feeling down? It's fine. You are probably picking up on collective energies, on energies around you that are not yours to carry. So you're going to ask me, okay, what do I do then when I feel this way? And apparently it's collective, so I'm going to have to feel it and go through it. No, you don't. Once you are aware, just the fact that you are aware that this exists, one, will change so much. Two, it means that you can consciously say, okay, I think it's not mine to carry. I can let this go. Conscious letting go. And then you can consciously do things, practices, tools, just simple things that will allow you to replenish your inner world and in a way get rid of that energy that is pulling you down. There are many ways. You don't need to know so much. And I share this in my programs. I am against overstimulation, too much information, following a strict structure, blueprint, framework. No. Pick the tools that speak to you, use them. Even if it's 5 minutes sitting with your eyes closed and connecting to your breath, doing a balanced breath where you breathe in for 3, for 4, for 5, breathe out the same count, and you do that for 5 minutes. Your body will respond to that. And those energies that in a way aren't wanted or are just too much for you because you are sensitive to that, it will soften. It will eventually dissolve, if I can say it that way. So there are very simple tools that you can do, just as I just said. So whenever you feel off, do that. Then there are other situations where you won't immediately understand why you are feeling unmotivated, again, down. You feel alone. Maybe you've lost hope. Maybe you don't have much belief. You feel that you're not capable. All those kind of feelings where your self-esteem and your self-worth kind of gets a toll and you don't know why. Your environment. Your environment is so important to your inner well-being. Your environment with so many factors, the culture, the location, the weather, the people, the noises, the stimulation or non-stimulation, so many factors. The list would be, 100 things long. So I can't go through it all, but the environment affects you, whether in a good way or bad way, depending on who you are, where you are in your life, where you want to go, the goals you have for yourself, and how sustaining your environment is for you. And I can speak personally for myself as an example that I know that today, even where I live is an amazing place, I can't take that away from this place. It's a beautiful, beautiful country, beautiful city, so many positive aspects that I could again list forever. Yet, it is not an energy and an environment that fits my needs right now in this moment of my life. It used to. I have been living here in Portugal for 7 years. For basically 5 years, I was the happiest person. I love this place so much. If anyone would ask me, where do you want to live next? I would say, why would I ever want to move from here? Because this is the best place on earth. And I'm not kidding. Like literally, when people would ask me and I would tell friends, I'm like, but how? How could you ever want to live elsewhere? Now, I desperately want to leave. And I have to be honest. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend. I desperately need to leave. Not because it's a bad place. No, because the energy of the environment doesn't fit me as an individual with my own, in a way, personal frequency and signature, vibrational signature. It doesn't suit me. And it also doesn't suit the needs, the things that I need in my life right now to make things happen or to feel fulfilled. To be able to feel fulfilled, your environment is fundamental. Because if it's, in a way, not fulfilling many little needs that are on the lowest scale of all the needs that the human being, has and lives with and evolves with, like we all have these basic needs that go from the bottom to a higher scale. And there's actually a diagram that exists, Maslow's diagram, where the human being's needs are scaled until the highest fulfillment. But to attain that higher fulfillment, if these needs are off, they're not fulfilled, it's going to be very hard. So it's like asking someone to become the best version of themselves, to, be fulfilled in their life, be happy, have a great career and a good living, have great relationships, if the environment doesn't suit you, if the vibration, the energy of the place is not aligned with who you are anymore, you can do whatever you want. You can fight as much as you want. It won't work. And I know from experience, and I can say it out and loud right now, it does not work. And it won't. I'm not saying that nothing can work, but you will probably doing things out of and being just miserable. Who wants to live a life miserable? Nobody. I think the goal of everyone is to be happy. The goal of everyone is to be fulfilled, in a way satisfied. So environments. So again, I wanted to bring awareness on the environment. And you can study this in many ways. If you like astrology and you are interested in that, you can, even ask an astrologer, or you can even get a map from your birth and your date of birth, all the information on you, because it's very precise. As you are a unique being, obviously, the map will be unique to your life path. But you can even study, have a map depending on astrology and the planets, the cities that are favorable for you. Those things exist. If astrology doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. There are other things that you can do. that you can look up and search for that will help you understand maybe where would be a good environment for you, whether it's a country, whether it's a town, you know, even just a neighborhood. Sometimes you don't need to move city or country. It can just be a neighborhood or an area of a town where you don't feel so great and you don't know why. We underestimate these things so much. And then we ask ourselves every day, why am I not feeling good? Why isn't my energy, high or just like healthy? Why am I feeling so exhausted? Why am I so unmotivated? Think, bring awareness, your environment. Now, there's also other types of environments that are much closer, much more personal. Obviously, there are relationships. So the relationships can be the very close ones that are literally the ones that are in your life that you live with. If you live with someone, or if you have children, or if you're married, if you have a partner, those close relationships is your closest environment. There are your friends, your colleagues at work, the partners you work with. When it feels draining, again, off, in a way, it feels off in a way that sometimes it even becomes toxic. You get anxiety, you feel stressed. You even may get some physical symptoms, like you can feel tight in the chest, or it can be in the stomach, or you can get even acid reflux and, pains, headaches. All those symptoms can just be trying to show you and tell you something. Energy is a language, but it's not a language like, oh, I speak French, that's it. Oh, I speak English, whatever. It's a language, but that it uses many different ways to express and communicate with you. So the energy will use symptoms with your body. It will use feelings, emotions, and other signs. And I'm not going to get in too much into stuff like that because I don't want to go too far into things, but it shows up in different ways and signs in your life. And the more you will be, in a way, aware that you're curious, that you're open, you have to be open-minded. If you are closed-minded, you don't believe in everything, you only believe in a certain way, that this is what I can see, it's a table, I can touch it, nothing else exists, then this obviously is not for you. You have to be able to believe in the unseen, not in imagination, not in some kind of imaginary world or film or whatever, fantastic illusions, no. But you do have to have an open mind and an open heart to be able to be receptive to these things. So if it is something that you are interested in, you will, the more you pay attention to the details, to how you feel in certain environments, and I'm going to come back to relationships with certain people. Again, it doesn't mean that if you are with someone, you're having a great time. Let's say you go out with someone, a friend, you have a great time. Your energy was great before seeing the person. It's great when you're with the person, and then you come home and you're like, oh my God, I feel terrible. It took me so many years also to see this, was like, why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel bad about myself? Why does it feel heavy on my chest? Why suddenly my mood was great and now it's not? Why? The person you were with either gave you energy, giving you their maybe like negative energy or their frustrations or their projections, and they were putting that all onto you. And because you are in a way sensitive to energies, or maybe because you are truly listening to that person, you are receptive in that moment, and you don't know how to have boundaries or protect yourself, you're taking it all in. And then you go home and you're like, oh my God, like, why? Like this, you know? And sometimes it doesn't happen immediately. Sometimes it can be like 2 days after. You're like, why am I feeling this way? I had so much energy three days ago. I felt great. I felt, normal, just like going on with my days and happy and feeling energetic. And now I feel exhausted. Like it's even felt in the body. And you're like, why? That person, you took energy from that person, whether you wanted it or not. And it's not the person's fault, like this is how energy works. It's an exchange of energy. That's just how it is. And it doesn't mean the person is a bad person. Maybe it was just like someone who was going through having a bad day, or just having some inner things going on, and was just like projecting it and, passing it on to you. It's not intentional. It's not bad. It is what it is. So again, awareness. When you feel like that around certain people, if it's just once, a one-off thing, again, you're aware, you see, you feel, take care of it. Replenish your energy within, take care of your inner world, do the tools, take the walk, go in nature, take the breaths, do your thing. And it will come back. Sometimes just going for a nice long run, your energy's back. And you've basically eliminated the energy that feels heavy. It's gone. Eliminate it from your system. Because when you move, and movement is one of my favorites, because when you move, you are moving the energies within. You are, in a way, recycling your energies. You're moving the energies within, and the ones that you don't want will get out of your system. You will eliminate. So, yeah, sometimes that's all you need, go and have a run. Now, if you notice, and this will take some time sometimes, that it happens every time you are around somebody, that means that there's something a bit more deeper going on, and that basically maybe, and I don't want to go into general kind of putting names and labels, because it's kind of tricky. That's why I say it takes time, and it's for you to evaluate yourself. But if you notice that again and again and again and again, that no matter what you do, what you try, what you are aware of, the presence of someone makes you always feel the same way afterwards, in a negative way, whether it's drained, sad, depressed, frustrated, angry, whatever the emotion is, there is something else there that might need to be seen. And sometimes the most radical action is to take distance from that person, just as much as when your environment doesn't suit you anymore. I'm not kidding to say that it's vital for you to take your distance from an environment that doesn't suit you, because it will affect you. It will affect your mood, it will affect your motivation, and it will affect your health. And I'm not saying this lightly, because I know from experience. So it's very important to realize and to notice that your environments, whether it's physical environments, people around you, notice and take distance when it's necessary. And this is a way of protecting your own energy, because you can use the tools to replenish and in a way recycle your energy for yourself, yeah, but eventually it's exhausting when you have to do it all the time, because simply you are in the wrong environment or around people you should basically not be around of or be with. It's exhausting, and it will, on the long run, it will affect your mental health and your physical health too. And again, I'm not saying this lightly. And this is why I really wanted to share again about it, because I have learned for many years from experimenting, from, comparing, seeing, witnessing, getting proof, that I'm like, wow, energy is so real. And it's so more powerful than we think. And it affects us so much more than we think. So when you are aware of that, you have in your hand, wow, a huge key to unlocking doors and, levels to a life that will be more fulfilling, happier, more balanced, healthier, more expansive, more exciting. Because it will be aligned with you, not your neighbor, you. Because we are all unique. And that's why when I have people giving me advice and their opinions, which I know comes from love, it comes from wanting the good for me, but sometimes like, oh, this and that, and you should da-da and da-da-da. I'm like, yeah, but at the end of the day, I know what I'm feeling. I know my circumstances, and I know that it's because it doesn't suit me or it doesn't fit anymore. So I could apply their advice. It doesn't mean, one, it would work, and it doesn't mean that I would be fulfilled. It doesn't mean that I would be simply happy and content. I know it's quite controversial because there are many things about just remain in love and see the positive and feel gratitude and everything will be fine. That is so true. But those, in a way, are tools to help you get on a higher frequency, the frequency of love, the frequency of gratitude, the frequency of, those higher frequencies. In a way, they are tools. But if the underlying problem is the energy, the environment, the people, it will not work. And again, I come back to the same result. It's exhausting. So if you feel exhausted by trying hard, by, trying to create the circumstances, the networking, the change, the move, the new, maybe start looking into what energy work is, what energy means to you, and be curious. Be curious. Because at the end of the day, I can give you all this kind of information, but you have to be curious and do the work for yourself in a way. Because this is so unique to each person's path, depending on where you're living, where you are in your life. So many factors. But you can do it. And if you need help, because you feel it's too much for you, because you do feel that this is, it feels like so, in a way, overwhelming, ask for help. There are many people, there are many coaches. Like, I can help you. If you want to book a session with me, or you want to talk to me because you have these questions and these things, I'm like, yeah, this kind of resonated. Like, I'd really like to understand more personally for me, for my path. I can help you with that. And there are many other coaches and facilitators and, energy workers, energetic. Oh my God, like, can't say it. I have the word in French. Yeah, I know. I sound very English, but I am also very French. And sometimes my vocabulary doesn't work. So there are practitioners, let's say it that way, that can help you if you feel stuck. If you don't feel stuck and you are curious and you want to study a bit more, There is so much, again, information out there. So you can look up your astrocartography that will calculate depending on your birth chart, astrological birth chart, where the cities that would be beneficial for you, depending on if it's for work, if it's for love, it's for building a family, if it's for networking, it's for, career. Like, there are so many different things that you can look it up. You could, what else could you do? You could read books on energy, read books on energy work, listen to podcasts. Because again, I don't have all the answers. I have my knowledge, my experience that I share. But then for you to be able to get to know yourself and know exactly maybe what you need to change or what you need to, adapt in your life, you have to study and you have to do the research. So do the research. And you know how it works. Like, once you start researching, you will say, oh, yes, this resonates. Oh, I like that. No, that I don't believe. Do your own thing. And slowly you will start to understand, and the dots will start to align, and you're like, yeah, I understand now. So again, if you need help on this, I am there. I know I don't necessarily say out loud that I offer one-to-one sessions or that I do that facilitation work, but I do. So you can join me. I mean, you can contact me on my website. You can contact me through Instagram, and I will get back to you. So I hope I covered all of it. Again, if you're very new to energy, it can sound a bit big and a bit like, what? But I'm telling you, when you feel those ways, when you feel a certain way and you don't know why, it's energy. Energy is a language. And when you get to speak the language, you can navigate life in ways that you couldn't have possibly thought of. As if you had this other sense. You're adding a sense in your life that you didn't have. And you will navigate life with this new skill. And it really is a huge and powerful skill. Because I have avoided so many, in a way, dramas, problems, toxic situations, because I read the energy. I listened to the language, to the signs, to all the signs. And I took decisions and made choices after that. And I'm so grateful. And the more you will practice, the more, it's just like every language. This is why I just really love it to say that energy is a language. It is, because the more you practice, the more you will see it fast. You will pick it up fast. You will read it fast. It will be so like natural. Just like driving, when you learn to drive, at first it's really tricky. Like any language, same thing. At first you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to know how to speak this language. And then practice. And then you will master it. And when you master energy, oh my gosh. And I'm not saying I'm mastering it, because I know I have still lots to learn, but I'm already speaking it fluently. So I'm sending you so much love. Again, if you want to contact me, send me an email. Please follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on YouTube too. You can also, make a comment on Spotify. Like, really, I didn't say that before, but I really love to see people who engage, who share, who follow, who comment. Share your thoughts. Sending you so much love. Take care and listen to your energy. Lots of love. Thank you for listening to Keeping the Magic, the podcast. You can listen to more episodes now on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Trust your potential within. Lots of love.